It is the story of a magnificent vision that took shape more than 35 years ago. Of a grand perspective which over the decades has gradually become dynamic in size and scope. Of a relentless pursuit of ideas, commitment and innovation in the service of a gigantic clientele of its kind. The people of India.
देश की भावनाओं का दर्पण, दूरदर्शन.
A saga of electronic communication in a multi-ethnic, pluralistic society. Of a responsible information, educational and cultural interface in a democratic developing country. The story of Doordarshan is a reflection of contemporary India, capturing the images of achievements, of national dreams and tragedies, of a collective celebration of national pride. A story where the electronic chronicler of a diverse and complex country also performs the crucial role of a nation builder, a unifying medium that thwarts centrifugal forces at work as it constantly reminds its citizens of their national oneness, reiterating India's ancient values of tolerance and togetherness. These are the abiding images of the early days, the humble beginnings. September 1959. First experimental telecast started in Delhi with a makeshift studio and a small transmitter. 1965. Regular daily transmission begins in the capital. 1972. Television service extended to Bombay. By 1975, this coverage had extended to 7 major cities of the country. 2 decades later, Doordarshan has become one of the world's largest communication networks, boasting of 700 terrestrial transmitters, 17 transponders on INSAT satellites, 34 production centers, 1,200 hours of programs every week, regional language channels, and an international service for Asia, Africa and Europe. The rapid growth of hardware has enabled Doordarshan to reach out to an astronomical 85% of the country's 900 million population and a viewership of nearly 300 million. As a conscious effort, Doordarshan has reached out to the minority and underprivileged of Indian society in a larger endeavor to integrate them in the mainstream, realizing that these segments of the population also wish to be informed, educated and entertained. In many ways, Doordarshan's great leap forward really started in 1982, the year when India hosted the Asian Games in Delhi. Doordarshan geared up for this proud moment in the country's sporting annals by creating a new history, the introduction of colour. More significantly, Asiad 82 was indeed one of its finest hours when the network's army of professionals brought the games live on television on a scale and style which matched the international standards. If the Asiad was Doordarshan's trial by fire, tougher challenges lay on its path towards its maturing as a gigantic broadcasting house imbued with vision and purpose. Tougher so in a country where television was introduced primarily as an instrument of social change, where accountability as a public broadcaster was not to be measured merely in terms of growth in revenue, but also in its contribution to nation building. Over the years, it is this balance between the dictates of the market forces and the imperatives of social responsibility which has been the main plank of Doordarshan's philosophy. The litmus test came in the early 90s. Around the time the Gulf War ended on the sands of the Middle East, a new revolution rented the Indian skies. Satellite television and cable channels invaded the drawing rooms of Indian homes like never before. By 1991, the Indian economy had opened its doors to globalization. Foreign brands flooded the Indian marketplace, ushering in the vocabulary and philosophy of consumerism into the collective lexicon of the 250 million strong Indian middle class, which was just beginning to reap the first harvest of the country's economic and trade reforms. This robust and feisty chunk of the population was impatient for both unfettered information as well as sophisticated entertainment. The demand for a different kind of software had been created. And for the moment, only the clutch of overseas channels seemed to provide the fare. Apprehensions of an imminent exodus of audiences to the new channels gained strength as viewership ratings for its programs dipped marginally in the period 1991-1993. But Doordarshan fought back. The launching of its Metro channel was a crucial strategic move. By the end of 1993, the reverse had happened. Doordarshan was back again as the #1 choice of all Indian generations. Bringing about the shift in viewership pattern was its revamped programming structure and extended hours of operation. The new software package had something for everybody, for the fun-loving as well as the serious viewer. An assortment that comprises serials, situational comedies, film-based magazines, countdown hit parades, game shows, current affairs programs and documentaries. A package which did not lose sight of DD's paramount goal, its responsibility as a public broadcaster. Recent audience surveys by an independent agency, the Indian Market Research Bureau, IMRB, show that viewership for the top 10 Doordarshan programs has nearly doubled since December 1993, a pointer that the national television is spreading its base wider than ever before. According to IMRB's latest survey of 9 cities, weekly TRP ratings for the top 10 programs in DD's Channel 1 and 2 in February 1995 range on an average from 20 to 70%. In comparison, ratings for the top 10 programs shown on the most popular satellite channel only hover roughly between 7 and 20%. This apart, on an average, Doordarshan's flagship channels 1 and 2 still enjoy a whopping 85% of the total daily primetime viewership in the 4 metros of the country between 8 and 10 p.m. Viewership in the metros for the top 10 programs on DD, which increased by an average 27% in September 1994, rose by 70% in March 1995. Growing audiences has translated itself in terms of increasing commercial earnings, which has risen from 1,360 million rupees in 1987 to 3,980 million rupees in 1994. And to top it all, projections only indicate a faster rate of growth in viewership in the short and medium term. The optimism stems from the fact that the market for both colour and black and white televisions in India is growing at a bustling rate of 30% per annum. Of the total 6.5 million televisions sold in the year 1994, 5.2 million were black and white sets, all of which found their way into rural and small-town households, sectors for where Doordarshan is still the only source of television entertainment. And now, giving the competition a real run for the money is Doordarshan's latest attraction, the Movie Club. The Movie Club marks the beginning of a new partnership between 2 of the largest entities of their kind in the world, Doordarshan and the Indian film industry. a symbiotic relationship which struck root much before the time television turned commercial and opened avenues for sponsored entertainment. With the present firmly under its grip, Doordarshan is girding up for the impending competition of the future. A battle for the eyes and minds which will entail production of quality software as well as the use of the edge of the wedge technology. As the country enters the age of information highways and interactive television, Doordarshan's confidence to be able to utilize these new technological marvels to its benefit stems from substantial spending on research and development and a huge pool of trained personnel it has created. Consider the latest technological additions to Doordarshan's hardware systems. Digital compression of signals, which will multiply the beaming capacity of transponders 4 times. Picture monitoring systems in major centers, which will enhance the quality of reception. Upgraded BETACAM studio facilities with non-linear digital editing suites. Reconfiguration of satellite channels on transponders of INSAT 2B for more efficient distribution of signals by cable networks. With such a vast terrestrial and satellite network, skilled manpower and enviable high-tech support, Doordarshan's position as the premier broadcaster in the country is firmly entrenched in the near future. India's huge and liberal market has made it the cynosure of foreign networks and satellite channels. So attractive is the national television's platform that every major broadcaster in the world continues to woo Doordarshan in the hope of striking a strategic alliance. The big names in international broadcasting are willing to enter into collaborative ventures. And Doordarshan, with its hottest asset, transponders on INSAT 2B and 2C satellites at its disposal, is in a unique position of strength to forge alliances with international giants and create its own cluster of channels, in effect giving a new dimension to Indian television. Doordarshan, whose organic growth springs from a distinctive communication philosophy, a philosophy which has been born out of a conviction of purpose and realization of one's pivotal role in the larger context of service to the nation.
देश की भावनाओं का दर्पण दूरदर्शन।